Today, we dive into the story of a man who not only held the most powerful office in the world, but did so while battling a life-altering disability. A story of resilience, leadership, and incredible determination. The President of the United States is often considered the most powerful person on Earth, and for good reasons. The U.S. is the world's largest economy, and global trade largely relies on the U.S. dollar, which currently accounts for 58% of all reserve currencies worldwide. The country boasts a technologically advanced military with approximately 750 bases in over 80 countries, giving it the unique ability to project power to any corner of the globe within minutes. The U.S. also controls a vast nuclear arsenal, and the global order itself often revolves around American influence. Now, imagine being the commander-in-chief of such a nation. That alone makes the U.S. president the most powerful individual in the world. Over the course of history, from George Washington to Donald Trump, 45 men have held this position. However, one name stands above the rest when it comes to power, popularity, and influence: Franklin Delano Roosevelt, FDR. FDR remains the only U.S. president to be elected 4 times, serving for 12 years and 39 days, the longest in American history. But what shocks most people is this: the man who led the country through the Great Depression and World War II was paralyzed from the waist down due to polio. Yes, you heard that right. FDR, who guided America through 2 of its toughest periods, couldn't walk without assistance. Most Americans at the time had no idea he was disabled. So, how did FDR become paralyzed? And why did he go to such lengths to hide it? What tricks did he use to keep his disability under wraps? Let's uncover this fascinating story. In 1921, while vacationing on Campobello Island in Canada, 39-year-old FDR contracted polio, leaving him paralyzed from the waist down. Prior to this, he had already run as the Democratic vice presidential candidate in 1920 but lost the election. Determined to stage a political comeback, FDR's plans came to a halt when his paralysis struck, forcing him to disappear from the public eye for 3 years to focus on recovery. During this time, his wife, Eleanor Roosevelt, played a key role in keeping his political career alive. But FDR himself was resolute. He practiced walking daily, hoping to regain some mobility. By 1924, FDR made a slow but steady return to politics. In 1928, he successfully ran for governor of New York and was re-elected in 1930 due to his popular policies. By 1932, he was nominated as the Democratic presidential candidate, despite murmurs from certain political circles doubting the capability of a disabled man to lead the nation during the economic crisis, known as the Great Depression. But FDR not only secured the nomination, he went on to win the election and proved to be one of the greatest leaders the country had ever seen. One of the most intriguing aspects of FDR's presidency was his ability to keep his disability hidden from the majority of the American public. Back then, physical disabilities were often perceived as a sign of weakness, which could have jeopardized his public image. So, FDR and his team employed several clever tactics to maintain the illusion that he could walk. Whenever he appeared in public, FDR leaned on aides, his son or his brother, for support, giving the impression that he was merely being assisted, not entirely dependent on them. FDR used leg braces to stand upright and relied heavily on a cane to shift his weight while appearing to walk. His podiums were specially designed to allow him to lean on them during speeches, reducing the strain on his upper body. In public gatherings, he often waved to crowds while seated in his car, avoiding the need to move around too much. When he did move, his staff surrounded him to block views of his wheelchair or awkward walking. Despite these precautions, FDR wasn't always successful in concealing his condition. Once, during the 1932 campaign, he fell while giving a speech. However, he quickly regained composure and continued as if nothing had happened. FDR's relationship with the press was crucial in keeping his disability hidden. Journalists respected his privacy, and the U.S. Secret Service often intervened if a photographer captured images of him in a wheelchair. As a result, only a handful of photos showing him in a wheelchair exist today. One of FDR's greatest strengths was his ability to communicate with the American public through his famous fireside chats. These radio broadcasts allowed him to speak directly to citizens, bypassing the need for public appearances. His calm and reassuring voice built a deep connection with the people, making him one of the most beloved presidents in U.S. history. Throughout his presidency, Eleanor Roosevelt played an indispensable role. She traveled extensively, met with citizens, and reported back to FDR on important issues. Her activism and dedication ensured that her husband remained informed and effective, even when his mobility was limited. When FDR took office in 1933, the U.S. was in the grip of the worst economic crisis in its history, the Great Depression. Unemployment was at a staggering 24.9%, and poverty was widespread. To combat this, FDR introduced the New Deal, a series of programs aimed at economic recovery. Major infrastructure projects, including roads, bridges, and dams, such as the famous Hoover Dam, were launched to create jobs. The National Industrial Recovery Act stabilized industries and generated employment, while banking reforms ensured financial stability. Subsidies and relief programs helped struggling farmers recover from the crisis. By 1936, the economy had improved significantly, and FDR was re-elected. His popularity soared, and he won a third term in 1940 and a fourth in 1944, a testament to his enduring leadership. As World War II began, FDR introduced the Lend-Lease Act in 1941, supplying weapons to the Allies. This decision not only strengthened the war effort but also boosted U.S. defense production, creating millions of new jobs and effectively ending the Great Depression. By the time the war was nearing its end, unemployment had dropped to a historic low of 1.2%. FDR was re-elected for a fourth term in 1944, but tragically passed away on April 12, 1945, at his retreat in Warm Springs, Georgia, a place where he often swam to strengthen his upper body. Interestingly, FDR was a distant cousin of former President Theodore Roosevelt, and his beloved wife Eleanor was Theodore's niece. In fact, FDR had familial ties to 11 other U.S. presidents either by blood or marriage, making him part of a unique political dynasty. FDR's leadership not only helped America navigate the Great Depression and World War II, but also reshaped the country's future. His disability, once seen as a weakness, became a symbol of his incredible strength. So, what did you think of FDR's inspiring story? Did you already know about his disability, or was this new information for you? Let us know in the comments below. And if you found this video informative and motivational, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more incredible stories like this. Thanks for watching,